Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? Happy hump day. So here I am, Nika, with your daily neuro nugget. Bear with me please because I just got home, cold outside, and my light just died. So I will have to charge that so that it's ready for tomorrow. But Kaylee Stalker. I've wanted to cover this for a while because I feel like it's something that a lot of people immediately assumed it's BK. Now that BK is in jail, we know it's him. We know he's a creep and he was stalking them, right? Wrong. Maybe wrong. We don't know. But I feel like LE failed to do proper research, in-depth research, because there was an incident at the bar with two young men. We see the video. They're acting a little odd. What does LE do? So are you Kaylee Stalker? No? Okay, no, cool. All right, then you're good. I mean, I wasn't there, but that's how I'm going to assume it went because, again, is my opinion that they haven't really been very thorough. Moscow PD has not been very thorough. We will see when the trial comes out. I think that maybe they got a lot of extra help. We know they got a lot of extra bodies. What is it, 40 to 60 plus other FBI, other agencies trying to help Moscow PD because they're not very experienced. So I want to know, how did these two young men get ruled out? Again, I understand that there's not much that could have been done if there was just a one-time incident. Because a one-time incident of a guy following a girl, or where it looks like he might be following a girl, is not considered stalking. Stalking is when it's happening over and over again. And if I recall correctly, there were some contradictions between the family as usual, right? The Gonsalves. Maybe it was just too early on, but I recall some saying she would have told us if stalking would have been an issue, she would have mentioned it to us. But apparently, Kaylee never mentioned it, which makes me wonder, is it because maybe she didn't want to worry her family? So she told her friends instead, and we know that she mentioned it to the owner of the smoke shop or the worker in the smoke shop. And in the back of my mind, I'm wondering if she mentioned the name, or she described the name of her stalker to the owner of the shop. Because the owner of the shop, when he was interviewed, he said that oftentimes when all the girls would stop there, it looks like Kaylee was being protected by a group of girls. Not once. It sounds like it was more than once, meaning she was likely stalked or followed more than once. So the only reason that I can think a young college girl would not mention that to her parents was because she was actually afraid. She actually had some sort of concern and she didn't want to worry her parents. Hey, you have to remember, this is a young female away from home. She's likely trying to enjoy university life, parties. Is it possible that maybe a worried parent, such as Steve or the mother, could have said, you know what, if this is taking place, you need to come back home? And is it possible that if this was happening to Kaylee, that maybe she said, I still want to be here though, despite whatever might be going on? So I'm not sure if the owner of the shop has ever been questioned as far as descriptions. But did Kaylee ever give a physical description of the stalker to other people? Because that could be a clue. And I've watched a lot of the videos, short clips, and Kaylee is a beautiful young woman. Beautiful young women often, unfortunately, have to be watching over their shoulder. Because sometimes a lot of people are coming at you constantly for whatever reason. Maybe they're trying to get to know you. Maybe they're just physically attracted. Maybe you come across as a very friendly person. Maybe you're all three and you just attract people to you. And a lot of these people attracted to young, beautiful women are males. And this can take a toll on a female. Constantly having to watch yourself, it can make you even slightly paranoid. I've had times where I've been walking in a forest reserve, or going for a jog, and I've had cars that are driving, coming from the opposite direction, and I see them slow down, and my first instinct is to pull something to protect myself. I shouldn't have to feel that way, but that's the unfortunate reality that a lot of attractive people, even average people, face on a daily basis. The car pulled over and was like, oh, I had watched you when I was coming in, meaning the opposite direction, and I just wanted to tell you that I saw your hair blowing in the wind and you looked like you'd been struck by lightning. And I'm like, random, but also you pulled over in the middle of the road to tell me that. You slowed down, you creeped towards me, and you were also watching me coming in. Now, I feel like I have to give a mini lesson here to a lot of young men, even older men sometimes. And most guys, most people are good people. Most people, in my opinion, have very good intentions. Or they just want to pull over to give you a compliment. But I'm going to tell you, as a female, never do it if they are alone. Okay, don't do it. You're going to creep them out. If you want to give them a compliment, wait until you're at a party and there's other people present and she doesn't feel threatened because you're following her. I thought it was common sense, but apparently it is not. So Kaylee, beautiful, young, allegedly she used to walk quite a bit within the university area to the home. And I think that just leaves a lot of women open to even more harassment, especially if she's beautiful. Because what are men looking at when they're watching a beautiful woman walk by? Oh, there goes a beautiful woman walking. And every now and then, you might have somebody who's a little bit strange, might try to pull over while you're afraid as a female, thinking, what is it going to do to me? Should I pull out my phone? Should I pull out my weapon? What do I need to do? Because I don't know if he's going to give me a compliment or if he's going to try to shove me in his vehicle. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that if Kaylee ever mentioned the word stalker to multiple people, to other girls, to the owner of the shop, it's likely because she had a stalker. Meaning this was not a one-time stalking issue. This was actual stalking. She was actually worried. Her friends were actually worried because they would accompany her because they knew that this behavior was odd. So, who is the stalker? There are a few videos of L.E., a young guy in blue, acting kind of odd, going to the house an awful lot. Some of them asking questions, saying in the videos, look, oh, there's no stairs to get up there. Interesting. A lot of those calls were not recorded. There's also another video of an officer who's doing the longest freaking eye test on a young girl. It is disgusting. Sir, you are not an eye doctor. You're giving her, what was it, like a 10, 15-minute eye test? Doing this. Oh, yeah, you might be drunk. I don't know. That behavior is not normal. It is not normal. Does this mean that her stalker was an LE? No. But I think it is important that we consider the visits to the home, 1122, that were not kept track of, that were not recorded. A lot of them supposedly were calls for students being loud and obnoxious. And then what do we see when LD shows up? Quiet house. Empty house. Almost empty house. So, very strange behavior from Moscow PD. A lot of the officers in Moscow PD are fairly young, fairly attractive. Is it possible that a late 20s or early 30s Moscow PD officer was maybe attracted to one of these young, beautiful women? Was maybe using his badge or his uniform to stalk Kaylee? Again, I understand this is a sensitive subject and people don't like to talk about it. But it's a sad reality that we have to address. We have to keep those notes in our head, because I wonder, why wouldn't she give a physical description? Why wouldn't you mention who the stalker was? Maybe she did, maybe she did not. I'm going to put myself in her shoes back when I was 20, 21, 22. If I would have seen BK acting weird, stalking me, and me having to go out of my way to have my friends walk with me everywhere because I'm afraid, I would have reported BK. First of all, he's an outsider. He's got that intense, odd look about him, kind of eccentric. And if I reported him, other people would probably think, yeah, he's weird. Now, if I was 22 and I'm being stalked in my home perpetually by somebody in a freaking uniform and a badge, what do you do? I know what I would do now, but if I was 20, I am not so sure. I don't know if I would have reported that, because since we're very little, we are taught to trust Ellie. We're never told to be wary, to be cautious of those in uniform. We are told when we are children, that's who you go to for help. So what happens when you find yourself in a shady ass situation being stalked? Let's assume by an officer. What do? And you're 20. This is your first time away from home. I don't know what I would do, but I know that I would be effing scared to make a report, because obviously I'm going to feel unsafe walking into the station to file a report against somebody with a damn badge. Again, Kaylee was a beautiful person, very attractive. It could have been anybody. But me, being 20, I would have reported all. I don't care who it is. If you're stalking me and you're making me feel unsafe, I'm reporting you. But I am going to think about it twice. Maybe not say anything at all if it's someone in uniform, because I may not know how to act. What do I do? Who do I go to? Am I just being paranoid? Because they keep coming to my house because apparently there's noise when there's no noise. He seems like a nice guy. And if he's attractive, it makes you even more confused, right? Because we often have this bias. When we see an attractive person, we often think they're so sweet. If they're unattractive, we think, ooh, they're creepy. They're weird. They're weird. They're awkward. Just something to think about. I find it interesting that Moscow PD never really pursued that. They never really looked in depth. Who is a stalker? And I think that's something that should have been looked at because stalkers often stalk prior to committing a crime. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Oh, I gotta go. It's that time. Second job, number 2. Leave me a comment down below. Give me a like, a hate, whatever you want. And let me know your thoughts. Who is a stalker? There's so many possibilities, but I think you get the gist of this video and you get the gist of where my mind is at the moment. So yeah, gotta run, guys. Have a good day. Don't forget to hydrate.